What's going on, everybody? We thank you for joining with me live. We're talking about NFL playoff picture. Tonight, we have a wonderful couple of games, starting with Cleveland hosting the Magic again for game two, the Knicks hosting the 76ers for game two as well, and also the Nuggets hosting the Lakers. Right now, we see a 5.5 spread for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And so many people are predicting them to win game two. This is a couple of keys that I see in the game today as that Garland and Darius Garland is going to have to first increase his production, and we're going to also need 27 from Donovan Mitchell. I truly believe that if Donovan Mitchell have a night like he had on Saturday night, he's truly going to get it going. He's truly going to try to get his guys going. You know, they have a wonderful team. You know, I don't know if you ever seen Cleveland's team, but they're really effective in really getting the ball and spreading it to some of their key shooters. And you know who they have right now, Max Strus, who came from Miami. You know, he didn't do that well in game one. I look forward to see him get going. He only shot 1 for 5 from three. So if they can get him going, I think that's really going to help Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell when it comes to, playing ISO ball. They're really trying to get them going, especially in the first half, to try to really kind of make sure that everybody's getting adjusted. But not only adjusted, what they're trying to do at Cleveland is try to really start the pace. Basketball is a game of runs and it's a game of pace. And you've seen on the first game, things were not clicking. It was a very, very, very horrible first start for Cleveland Cavaliers starting on Saturday. And so they're going to really try to really control pace, control tempo, and try to put up more shots on the offensive side of the ball this time. So look for them, I truly believe, to really try to get it going. Pace of play should be a little bit faster tonight. I really also think that they're going to try to at least put up 30 on the board tonight in that first quarter to really kind of control the tempo and let Magics know that they're here, they're willing to play. That second quarter was a time where they really started to see a lot of momentum going down for the Cavaliers. They shot 33 in the first quarter and then went and shot 20 in the second quarter. I'm looking for them also in the second half to really be a little bit more consistent, especially from shooting the three ball. That was one of the things that I seen. Shooting the three ball was just abysmal for both teams. Cleveland shooting 8 for 30 and Orlando shooting 8 for 37, 27% for Cleveland Cavaliers shooting the three ball, 21% shooting the three ball for Orlando. They both, I believe, are going to have to clean that up. Again, overall better team effort for Orlando. We talked about Franz Wagner. We talked about Paolo Banchero really being the huge starters for the Orlando Magic, and they're going to have to really up and increase their numbers. Paolo's really going to have to take more shots. I don't think 17 shots is going to get it done. He's going to have to put it up to 23 to 24 shots per game. Wagner's going to have to increase his efficiency. Even though he shot 50%, he's going to need to score at least 25 points. Jalen Suggs was a guy who also really helped them shooting 16 points, but he really couldn't, shooting 4 for 16, but he really couldn't get it going, only having 13 points, and he was abysmal from the three-point line, only shooting 1 for 7. So what I'm looking for Orlando tonight is really they're going to have to really keep up with Cleveland. They really don't have a tremendous offensive team, offensive repertoire. I told you just from the stats on Saturday night, they shot 32% from the floor. That ain't gonna cut it. They're gonna have to increase those numbers up at least by 6 or 7%. Try to shoot at least 46% from the floor. But I think it's going to be a night where Cleveland is going to really beat Orlando by another 10 points. And so if you're looking for the spread, I would probably take the spread on this one again, 5.5. Cleveland just to me is a better matchup than Orlando. And truly, I think if you take the spread for Cleveland, you're definitely going to win some money with that. Going to the next game, as you know, tonight, the second game that's on TNT, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Excuse me, 6:30 Central Standard Time. At 7:30 Eastern Time is Philadelphia versus the New York Knicks. We talked a little bit about Maxi and what he's been able to do. He carried the back of the team with him and Harris really after the injury of Joel Embiid. And, they have a tremendous team and they have great components with Batum and Obre and Lowry, who's also been an addition to the team. But you start to see that the first game, Lowry really couldn't get it going. He only had 9 shots. He shot 50% and he had 18 points, but most of that was from the 3-point line, which is tremendous. They're going to need him to continue that. But when we look at it, when we looked at in range, shooting it in mid range, he wasn't that great from mid range shots. Tobias Harris also, I think, will have to increase his numbers for them to have a great game. And then also Maxi, who had 33 points, they're going to have to really limit the load from him and try to help him out. One of the guys who I was looking at is Kelly Oubre Jr., a guy who averaged 15.4 for the season. He only had 10 points. And so I'm looking for him to really have an offensive night where he can probably pull up some more numbers, because I believe if he's able to pull up another 5 or 6 points, that would really take a tremendous load from Maxi and from Embiid. We know about the injury that Embiid had, which really hurt some of his minutes. Maxi was out there all night for 44 minutes, 44 out of 48 minutes that he played. And Embiid, he only can perform about 37 minutes because they wanted to monitor him to make sure that he will be able to be effective to continue for the season, and also maybe trying to get him ready for the semis as well. He had an efficient night, 8 for 22. Most of it, what he had, got off from the line, free throw line. He hit at 29 points, which was tremendous. 91.7% from the free throw line that night. 36.4 field goal percentage. He was tremendous, and he looked like the old Embiid. We didn't see that in the play-in tournament because I truly believe he was battering injury. In the season, he had 34.7%, but 34.7 points, 11 rebounds, and close to 6 assists per game. But we know that he was injured a tremendous amount of time, and he could have probably been in the league, the season scoring champ, but because of his injuries, you're going to see that they gave that to Luka, 33.9. He was shooting for it. So I look for, Philly, if they can, with Maxine, with Obre, with Embiid, putting up more numbers, they will possibly win tonight. And it's going to start with getting the ball first into Embiid, getting into the lane. I truly believe in the first quarter, they're going to try to set the tempo and the pace with him, trying to work it to the big fella. And this should be a big night for Embiid. I don't know what the over-under is for him, but I truly believe that this is going to be another big night for him. I expect him to score over something of 30 points. I expect Maxi to probably get somewhere between 25 to 30 points as well, because they want to make a statement that New York is not going to bully them around. And we've kind of seen that, especially on two sides of the ball, where New York out-rebound them 33 to 55. New York had 55 rebounds to Philly 33. That's one thing they'll be able to clean up this week, tonight, that they'll be able to clean up the offensive rebounds, because they really got out rebounded on the offensive side with those second chance opportunities, where New York had 23 offensive rebounds to Philly's 9. That's something they're going to have to clean up. They're going to have to clean up the 3-point shooting as well. They were 34%. Philadelphia shooting only 12 for 35, where New York didn't shoot tremendously well, but they did shoot 45, close to 46%, 45.7, shooting 16 out of 35. That's going to be some things that I'm going to observe tonight. I'm picking Philadelphia to be the team that's going to win tonight. I think they're going to come out gunslinging, even though the Knicks, with the guy that who came from Dallas, my guy who I love, Jalen Brunson. Now, of course, it was a hot night for Josh Hart. I don't expect for him to shoot the same way that he was shooting, almost at 50%, 5 for 12 from the field goal percentage, 4 from 8 for 3. I don't think he's going to be that hot, but one of the things I want to highlight, he had 13 rebounds in the game. That's something that Philadelphia is going to have to limit, really restricting him from having the ability to perform on that level and really having the ability to get those rebounds. They're going to have to really box out in the paint and stop him from shooting the 3 ball. OG Anunoby also shot 50%, but he only shot that in the field. He was not a deep range with 1 for 3. From the 3 point line, he only had 11 points. If he shoots like he shot on Saturday, and also if DiVincenzo not stepping up, this may be a rough night because I don't believe the key highlight player that shot that shot 7 for 12. We know him as Miles McBride. He had 22 at 28 minutes, 58% on the floor, shooting 71% from three. I don't believe he's going to have another night like he had. So I'm going to pick Embiid and Maxey to win this one in New York. It's going to be a tight one. But I see as the spread is a 5.5 for New York and Philadelphia. I would pick Philly on the spread just because I think they have the ability to win this game. Going into the third game, the Lakers and the Nuggets, that spread right there, 7.5. The Nuggets really started the game out flat. We talked about that on this morning. Started the game out flat. There's no Cam Reddish. There's no Jared Vanderbilt tonight. And so, LeBron and AD are going to have to play long minutes. I'm expecting a night where D'Angelo Russell is going to really have to step it out. This could be a night for him where he really can put up maybe 20 points. I expected for him to do that Saturday night, because he had 41 minutes that he played, but he only shot 6 for 20 for 13 points, and he was abysmal from the 3 point line, shooting 1 for 9. I expect him to clean it up. I expect him to have at least 15 to 20. I thought in the beginning of the half he was going that way, but then he kind of stopped his production. Austin Reeves is another guy shooting 5 for 9. He's going to have to step it up for them. Also, Taurean Prince, a guy they try to get going with the 1 for 3. He shot 4 for 7 from the field, only 11 points. They might up his minutes. Spencer Dinwiddie, he had 13 minutes, but he didn't do anything. I thought he was going to be a guy who they wanted to bring in to shoot the 3 ball effectively, but that's been the case. The 3 ball, they've been living and dying by it. LeBron, he shot the 3 ball pretty decent, 60%, 3 for 5. But again, LeBron can only do so much in the 41 minutes of play that he had played in on Saturday. So I expect for him and AD to really try to get the other guys going, especially spreading that ball around. And I expect that LeBron's assist numbers are probably going to increase tonight. You may see him have a 9 or 10 assist night, just because he knows that in order for them to win this series, all the other guys, especially Hachimura, is going to have to step up. Him only taking 4 shots out of 31 minutes, making 7 points, that cannot be. Hachimura is going to have to, at least as a starter, give them 15 to 16 points. And I want to reiterate, I would thought that him from this season averaging 13.6 per game, that they would try to get him going, and that was not the case on Saturday. So I expect that if they're going to want to win this game, playing an offensive team like Denver, who really didn't shoot that tremendously well, 46% from the field, 15 for 42, and you start to see those numbers only increased in the second half. I truly believe that the 3 point numbers that we've seen on Saturday, 35.7 for Denver, is going to change, and they're going to shoot a higher 3 point efficient number on tonight. And you're going to see guys like Pope, guys like Gordon get it going, and those numbers are going to increase. Looking at the numbers for Aaron Gordon, he only did 32 minutes, shooting 5 for 11, 12 points. That's not going to be so. I expect his numbers to increase. I expect Pope's number to increase. He should be a guy that's going to hit the 3 ball. He shot 4 for 10, but that was only in the end of the second quarter and going into the second half, where we started to see his numbers from the 3 ball tremendously increase. Also, Murray was off, shooting 9 for 24. I expect him not to have an off night like he had on Saturday night. So I expect another dub for Denver against LeBron and his Lakers, just for the simple fact they don't have lasers, they don't have 3 point shooting. And again, the stat that I always like to look at is rebounds. Lakers didn't do a bad job rebounding the ball 40 times to Denver's 49. But again, you got to look at the offensive rebounds. They've got to take Jokic off of the paint. If he's not out of the paint, you're going to see, like we've seen in Denver that second half where he started to take over and he had an efficient night. And it's easier for Jokic to really perform the way that he performed. 32 points. I expect his numbers to dwindle just a little bit, but you expect his assist numbers, and also he's not going to score under 25. You're going to expect another 25 night to 30-point night for Jokic, and that's what I'm seeing for the games tonight. So we thank you for joining. We'll be back on tonight, giving you a live diagnosis of all the playoff atmosphere tonight on Because Podcast.